All right, so we had a pretty darn quick game number one there. Just the mass speedling kind of all in against the Goliath build that can catch just about anyone off guard from time to time. So already down, we have Mickey, the ex-League of Legends pro gamer. So remaining NDS, the woman player for the Zerg team here. Going up next against Swift, who is from the team Protoss, up here in the top left of Circuit Breakers. And again, he is an ex-League of Legends pro gamer from Zenix Storm, as well as CJ Entis Frost. So yeah, let's see. I'm hoping it's going to be a longer game. I mean, the last game, it's like kind of, you look at it and you're like, well, that wasn't very fun to watch. But like, that's an actual real strategy against a real strategy. It was executed well. So, I mean, you know, no judgment there, but I'm hoping that we get a longer, better game here. Something a little bit more entertaining, I'm hoping. Now, all right. So, it looks like we're going to have a gateway expand here from Swift. So, some Zealot pressure should be coming out. Like I mentioned, the map is Circuit Breakers. You know, I'm actually getting kind of nostalgic casting here on Circuit Breakers. Definitely a map that was in the map pool for an insanely long amount of time. But as far as old maps go, definitely one of the best, one of the most balanced maps that we have had in the past. Like, I think at this point, it's definitely been played out, and I wasn't sad to see it go. And I think it also, the balance on it has shifted a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun map. It's a good map overall, I think, still. So, just some scouting going around. Looks like the drone and probe will meet up here in the center. Little fist bump, despite neither having hands. And the pool is done. Some Ling's going to get started here. Was a pool first. Probe going to come in and see exactly what's what with that. We'll see if this actually gets sent out or just gets kept home, depending on, or, you know, seeing how quickly that pool has been made. Zealot does start to come across the map. Only 2 Lings. Don't really have to worry about that too much. In fact, the Zealot might put some more pressure on and prevent more drones from being made. A couple more Lings are on the way. Looks like the drone will make it out here. So nice to see. This drone going home from the scouting. The Zealot actually does turn around, so pretty defensive play there from Swift. Nexus coming up. And the third hatchery, of course, being taken here at that mineral-only base. Pretty common thing to see. One thing I do want to mention is that Circuit Breakers, obviously we've had like so many pro matches on the map. We've really gotten to see all the matchups develop here quite a bit. And what became very, very popular here in Zerg vs. Protoss was Lurker Hydra push on this area, right? This high ground area that kind of leads down, because these little bridges are like too small to really attack over, right? Like if you try to send Hydras over here, you're just going to get absolutely slaughtered. So what we've generally seen, and of course it would be on the other side of the map, as you see here, is the Lurker Hydra take over this high ground and push down in the mineral only, because you can't really take a gas as your third very often here as Protoss. Oftentimes what will happen is the mineral only will get taken, then like, for instance, 12 o'clock will get taken. And if you can divide that up from this area utilizing this high ground advantage, generally we see Zergs gain ground there. So I'm wondering if that's what we're going to end up seeing. The layer is on the way. And I'd imagine that we're going to see a Spire here. Definitely you can go Hydralisk Den with that quick layer, although it's not nearly as popular. Cannon coming up here for Swift. Definitely getting ready to throw down his Stargate immediately. Down it goes. Zergling speed is on the way. Plenty of drones being produced. And I mean, it's definitely a Spire at this point, we can tell, because the Hydralisk Den would have been started by now. But will it be Mutalisks or not? That's kind of the next question that we're looking at. Plenty of Lings being fielded at the moment. Obviously, the Overlord keeping track of exactly what's going on here. A little probe being brought up to block that hole. +1 is already on the way. The defensive pylon behind. Looks like very solid play so far out of Swift. It looks like the build order is being nailed. All the careful moves are being made, such as the probe filling in the wall immediately. And then the pylon going behind. Look, the probe goes out as the Zealots come back. So it looks like some strong play overall. And obviously, we've already seen from NDS that she knows what's going on. Pretty solid play overall. Oh, God, it actually is a Hydralisk Den. Okay. So just a little bit later there than what I was expecting. I thought that it was going to be a Spire, but instead going for this. And now, if you go for the Hydralisk Den and no Spire, a lot of times what you see is quicker Overlord speed. See if that comes into play. Evolution Chamber being made. Very nice SimCity here. Zealot's not going to be able to go in through this direction. Could make the drones running away a little bit more difficult, though. Just something to throw out there. Now, with no Spire out, obviously you can't stop the Corsair from killing a few Overlords. But that doesn't actually make this build inferior. You know, you field your Hydras a little bit more quickly. You can get out Lurkers a little bit more quickly as well. So the couple Hydras out right now will want to help protect these Overlords a little bit. The Corsair comes in, sees the Hydralisk Den as well as a Hydra already out. So I think he's starting to get a very good idea of what NDS is up to. Templar Archives coming up. And the Corsair, you know, putting a little bit of damage on the Overlords, but obviously Hydras are going to be able to pick them off very, very quickly. Not going to want to sit there and try to actually kill the Overlord. Better to run away for now. I got to say, I think Swift is playing a very solid game here. Look at this. The Zealots already out on the map. They have their speed. They have their +1. There's enough Hydras that this doesn't look like the game is about to end or anything. There aren't any Sunkens down here. So that could be a little bit tricky, but look at this. Oh my god, these Lings are going to get absolutely demolished. The Zealots going right in on top of the Hydras now as well. Hydras, of course, very microable. A nice drone drill there does mess up the AI of these Zealots, and in fact, the flanking Hydras will come up and push those out of there oh so easily. Very, very strong hold here from NDS. But back at home, Swift has added a lot of gateways. So already up on 6. Some High Templars coming out. A couple more cannons as well since he lost all of those Zealots. Definitely very important to not get busted right before Psystorm. I mean, we've all seen that 100 times in this matchup. And not something Swift wants to have happen to him. Does have +1 armor on the way here as well. Storm is not ready. Only 2 cannons. Okay, he brings the probes just in case the Hydras dive forward. I think the Hydras, they have potential to dive forward here, but looks like NDS only wants to take down the gateway, maybe the forge. Okay, does finally dive in as more and more Hydras are coming across the map. Picks off a couple cannons immediately here. Pulling back, some nice micro. Could definitely deny this +1 armor, which would be absolutely fantastic. Something you really need for your Zealots to have that maintaining presence. Okay, a Storm goes down. Gets microed back. All right, another decent Storm. A lot of these Hydras are very, very low on health. So NDS is going to want to be careful here. If another Storm comes out, it's going to be a lot of dead Hydras. Yeah, you see them starting to pop now. A couple Zealots coming from behind. Not even sure where those were at, but plenty of Zealots now to push NDS back. Oh my god, the +1 armor did not get sniped down, unfortunately. But NDS might not be done with this attack. More Hydras coming up. The Lurker upgrade is on the way as well. Another gateway in the main base, so going back up to 6 gates. Swift definitely preparing. Okay, and actually a 7th gate, I think he's realized that his money is starting to balloon just a little bit. But generally, if you don't go up to 8 gates after you're done Corsair production, it means that you're going to try to take a 3rd. Pretty quickly. And I think that this is actually an opportune time for Swift to throw down a 3rd Nexus. So we'll see. In fact, look, yeah, he's sending the probe out immediately. So very good call there to go ahead and expand. Comes out over here, finding death in a pack of Hydras. Single Archon was made just to save the High Templars being targeted, so gonna help out a little bit here. Not as effective against Hydras, though. More macro hatcheries on the way here for NDS. Lots of Hydras. This is kind of a Sauron Zerg style. No static D whatsoever here for NDS. Gonna be microing back. The Zealots turning around and running. Don't want to run into this choke where the Hydras are gonna be over microed. Oh, trying to actually catch this. A little bit of a flank coming down for this forward group of Hydralisks. And Lurker upgrade is just about to finish. So as Lurkers come out, that should slow this all down quite a bit. I like the army that's coming out of Protoss right now, though. 6 Lurkers are getting morphed, as we see back at this choke. Looks like a defensive photon cannon being set up. Would definitely like to see that Nexus go down here for Swift. Observatory coming up, very importantly. Kadarian Amulet, as well as +2 armor, which is so trendy right now. Definitely something we've seen a lot of. Another hatchery down at 6, so staying ahead of the Protoss in expansions. Just right. Plenty of Dragoons being made still. All right, so who is actually ahead right now? It's kind of an interesting game because NDS went like a little bit greedy, right? Like no Spire, no static D, just pure units. And at this point, the army is actually very big and very strong for NDS. A lot of Lurkers, a lot of Hydras. Over on the side for Swift, you know, obviously lost a bunch of units early on. Oh, God. This is a block for Dragoons, but not for anything else. You actually have to kill either this gateway, or this gateway. That's painful. It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely annoying. Anyways, taking a look, right? Like, it doesn't seem like NDS can attack right now, but how the supplies are going, I think she's going to have a window of opportunity coming up. But the army is very strong for Swift. Like, it's good composition. The upgrades are going to be fantastic momentarily here. Kadarian Amulet is almost done as well, which is such a powerful one. 4th base coming up. Yeah, and that means NDS is going to have to think about moving out. Okay, finally going to go ahead and take down a single gateway over here. You can just make some more. I mean, 150, it's not the end of the world. All right, some Hydras going around. Looks like they want to hit an attack here at 12 o'clock before these cannons finish up, and it's going to be well-timed for that, but Zealots coming in from both sides, so while you might end up killing a cannon or something, it looks like this will be clean. Nice storm there by Swift. Wow, cleans that up very quickly indeed. Some High Templars maybe a little bit out of position. Got to be careful about those possibly getting picked off, as we see nothing in the vicinity, so not going to be the case here. Now, the supply has gone up a lot here for NDS in respect to Swift's supply. Generally, when you see supplies like this, you're going to say, okay, Zerg's ahead. But I don't really want to call it yet, right? Like, it's definitely something where if Swift takes one good battle, it can switch around quite a bit. But a lot of Lings being added in, Melee and Carapace being researched, as well as the Hive. So Adrenaling's definitely going to be the aim here for NDS. She's going to pull her Hydras back over the bridge. Looks like Swift getting ready for an attack. Very hard to break onto these positions, by the way. Like I mentioned, you know, those high ground areas, it's hard for Dragoons to get up because they shoot really slowly, and missing half of those shots is just brutal. Some good storms to help. Trying to get up here and actually target down that Lurker that only has one goon shot left on it. Ling's coming out and just kind of slowing it down right now. A little bit of stack D has been added. And a beautiful storm right there, hitting 2 of the Lurkers. Now the Hydra's coming up to that high ground as well. This is a very strong army from Swift, who's now on 4 bases with 3 gas. The flank coming out from that low ground, but the Lurker count has been decimated, and that's a real problem. The Zealot's going to come in and deal tons of damage now with that +2 Carapace. Some great storms here on NDS's Hydra Force, and now you see that supply really falling off as the storms are hitting, as the position is being taken. Look at this beautiful side storm going down. The Dragoons in a huge arc here. Storm's killing just about everything, and it looks like Swift should be able to take this game from here. More units are rallying out, but I think we are at critical mass in this attack where even if every single unit gets into battle as quickly as possible, you are not going to be able to make a big enough army here as Zerg. So it does look like Swift, our League of Legends ex-pro gamer, going to be able to get a win here for Team Protoss, as this third base is being absolutely demolished. Drones trying to run away. Obviously, this base is easy to kill after you kill this one, and it's not going to get better from there. Some pretty solid unit control, really. Like, maybe the macro just a little bit slow here, but League of Legends Pro Gamer showing what he's good at. Hitting those storms, maneuvering his army nicely, and definitely getting a win here for the Protoss team. Going to be going up against a Terran next, GG.